Hello and welcome back to Genesis Designs and Modelcraft, and welcome to part 1 of my latest big part work to come up onto YouTube, and that's for this beautiful Airfix Spitfire Mark 9 in 1/24 scale. Now, I got this kit in November last year, I think it was, and I'm frankly flabbergasted that it's taken me so long as this to get around to getting started on it, considering I wanted to get on with this early in the new year, and here we are most of the way through August and I'm just getting going. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, here's the kit. You've seen the kit. I did an inbox review on it. There's lots of other people building it, so I'm not going to look at the kit anymore just now, but what I'm going to do, this video really is just an introduction into what I'm going to do with this build, what I plan to do with this model. And I'll just pop these fuselage pieces there as a bit of window dressing. So you might remember from the inbox, this is a pretty decent kit as it comes in the box. There's really not a lot wrong with it, but we can't help ourselves, can we, as modelers? We have to add extra things. And one benefit with taking quite so long to get around to starting it is that some of the aftermarket has caught up. So I'm just going to go through the pieces that I've got to put onto the kit to embellish the kit, and I'm going to show you what I plan to do with it. So first things first, first thing I've got here, the Airscale cockpit upgrade. This one I got direct from Airscale on their website. I'll try and remember to put appropriate links for all these things in the description for any that may be interested in having a look. No guarantees though, I'm quite forgetful. And this is the photo etched instrument panel essentially. So this is what you get. Piece of, ugh. Oh gosh, I'm sprinkling things everywhere. Little piece of acetate, some decals, and this beautiful card instruction piece done in the style of olden days paperwork. All the instructions are in words, and obviously there's a nice graphic there to show you exactly where all the various decals are supposed to be fitted. They're not random. So that's that. Big piece of photo etch. This is a pretty big sheet, despite only really being for the instrument panel. You've got the instrument panel and the main sort of seat frame as well, the face of it in photo etch, and a few other bits. That's a compass mounting bracket, canopy opening handle. These parts go on the seat frame, and there's a couple of other small pieces as well. The instrument panel itself is divided into pieces as the backing, the front, blind flying panel, etc, etc. So all separate pieces, and it's beautifully done, and it's quite thick, decent thick photo etch, but the mounting pieces are nice and small, so it's not going to be really difficult to work with. That's that. The acetate is supplied actually for making the glass faces for the instruments with, rather than using paint or crystal clear. And here are the decals, and they're absolutely stunning. I mean, these detail on those is absolutely phenomenal. Nothing really wrong with the kit parts, but they can't also compete with this at all. So that's the instrument panel. As I say, £20 direct from Airscale, and worth every bit of it, I reckon. Next up, we've got a couple of pieces from Edward. Again, don't think there's necessarily masses wrong with the kit parts, but I've picked these up anyway, and I'll show you what we've got. So we've got brassing, 5-spoke wheels, instruction leaflet, but in fairness it's all quite self-explanatory, masks in there, and we've got some photo etch. So if you were modelling an aircraft with the wheel covers on it, you can use those. And the resin parts themselves, we have a new tail wheel, the reins. Flattened but not particularly bulged. Nice detail on the insides there. Dunlop size data. And just for a change, I think that the sidewall data is reasonable. It's not massively overdone. I quite like that. And then in this separate pack here, got the wheel hubs themselves, which are 3D printed, and they are absolutely glorious. I'm always intrigued by the little forest of connectors on 3D printed parts. So these wheels cost, I got these from Hannants and I paid £10.70 for this wheel set. Reasonable amount really, just for a set of wheels. But they're quite big. So I'll pop those back in the box. And the exhausts, well these were $7.99. Fishtail exhausts, as shown there, and again here, and these come in this beautiful little box, and again they're 3D printed onto two, I don't want to break them getting out, two separate sorts. You've got a R2 and R3. Let's get the instructions, which obviously just wrapped around this card backing. Here we go. R2 is left, R3 is right. That's what I was looking for. Yep. They're just a straight up plug-in replacement for the kit parts. This is just to be expected, I suppose. These are 3D printed, and as you can see they're held into this Gucci little plastic box with a little bit of double-sided sticky tape. So I think I'll leave them there for the moment. But coming up close, here's what you get. They are, of course, very hollow and feature weld seam detail. Very, very nice indeed. $7.99 for those. And lovely little box. This is from Aerocraft Models, and this is the brass undercarriage leg set. This again is £20, but full disclosure, Ali did send me these free of charge when I mentioned that I was after some for this build, so thank you very, very much to him for that. But I would have happily paid for them anyway. So these aren't white metal. I'm a massive, massive non-fan of white metal undercarriage replacement sets, mostly done by, is it Scale Aircraft Designs or something like that. They are almost exhaustively simply straight copies of the kit parts, right down to ejection marks and mould seams, made out of white, soft white metal, so you don't gain any detail. You do gain some extra difficulty cleaning up the parts, and you also gain an undercarriage which over time will literally bend and sag under the weight of the model. They're inferior to kit legs almost completely. They're absolutely pointless, and I can't stand them. And I can't believe that they do so well with them. These, however, are made from brass. So they're much, much stronger than plastic ones. I really don't want to bend it, but I can't show you how hard I'm touching anyway. Much, much stronger than the kit parts. They're able to render fine detail, unlike the white metal ones. And I suppose the only downside to these compared to white metal is you can't polish up the oleo. You still have to paint it or use foil. But again, these are casted from the kit parts. But in fairness, there's nothing at all wrong with the kit parts, they're just plastic, so these are stronger. Again, you do gain some difficulty with cleanup. You can see there's a sort of a sprue at the top there. That'll have to be filed off. You can't scrape these with a scalpel, they'll need filing. Included in the set then, two main legs, as you can see there, Also get a tail wheel, every bit as important, probably even more so. Tail leg I should say, there are no wheels in the set. And a pair of 3D printed scissor links, or torque links, depending how you want to look at it. And these are a significant improvement over the kit parts, much greater finesse, and all of the lightning holes are reproduced fully. So that's the undercarriage set. Now I'm not going to sit here and say that the kit parts can't withstand what they need to. They probably can, but with models like these, if you plan to transport them to shows or anything like that, which I do, it's a useful change to make, I think, to you know, preemptive strike, put strong undercarriage parts in. So as I say, these again are direct from Aerocraft models, Ali, and they would be £20 for those. And lastly, and this is going to let the cat right out of the bag, decal sheet. I think I said right from the off that I wasn't going to be using the kit decals, and that's because I want to do this aircraft. G-IRTY, G-IRTY. So this is the aircraft which flew around the world basically in 2019. Absolutely astonishing achievement in a single engined aircraft of any sort, much less an 80-year-old warbird. I was prepared to create masks or sort out the markings myself, but Draw Decal have come to the rescue and offer this decal set in all the scales, so I bought them. Now these are silk printed decals. They do not have an excess of carrier film. If I hold that up to the light, you can see there's actually no carrier film there at all. They're printed on a continuous clear film, so you have to cut them out around themselves properly, but this is not an issue because this will lead to them looking exactly like the markings on the real aircraft do, because mostly those are stickers as well. And these are just lovely. We've got obviously got the serials, we've got the anti-glare panel, and the longest flight roundels, shall we say, a couple of UJs, and the propeller stencils as well. Lovely little set. There's your placement data. Obviously it's it's not particularly complex. These were $13.50 plus postage. I can't remember what the postage cost. I do know that postage from the US now, it's frankly cheaper to swim across, but it was probably about $20 by the time I paid for postage as well. So in total, those aftermarket trinkets came to £60 plus postage plus what the decals came to, which is not far off doubling the price of the kit, so I'm happy that that's enough. So if you've not seen G-IRTY with your eyes, this is what she looks like. Not only is this aircraft natural metal, but it is highly polished as well, and has a pointy fin fitted. The rudder. The rudder seems to flip and change. I don't know why. I prefer the pointy rudder, so that's the one I will use. I've got plenty of photographs with the pointy one attached. Obviously, I'm going to try and recreate this exceptionally beautiful aircraft using foil. What else would I do? I did try, unfortunately unsuccessfully as it turns out, to visit G-IRTY. She spends quite a lot of time at Goodwood here in the UK, and with a lot of help from Dale Luckhurst at Airfix, and thank you so much to him for his efforts, I got in touch with the people who operate the aircraft here. I wanted to visit, to take photographs and what have you, because there are a few details on this that are not standard Spitfire, or at least not standard wartime Spitfire, and I wanted to get up close and personal with the aircraft and record those differences for myself, so that I could make the best effort at replicating them in what is going to be a large and impressive model. Unfortunately, through timing issues and everything else, I've been completely unable to sort anything out. The aircraft keeps on going back to Denmark, and I've honestly actually been waiting sort of 3 or 4 months now for a slot to try and go and see it, and that's the biggest thing that's been holding the project up. And I've finally reached the point where I've said, okay, no, I'm just going to get on with it, and if there are some inaccuracies, then so be it. There are a lot of photos of the aircraft on the internet because she's very photogenic, and if in the meantime I do get a chance to go see her, then obviously I will. I have done a preliminary test with the foil on this tailplane, and it's not too bad at all. You can see that's quite shiny. It's a lot of work, not going to lie, this is going to take a minute, but I think in the context of an entire model this is going to look absolutely fabulous. This is only the first piece I've done, and I've titivated the method to get a clearer finish since this, so it should look even better than this when it comes to it. I can peel this off and do it again. That's the plan then. 1x Airfix 1/24 Spitfire kit, some draw decals, some Aerocraft undercarriage legs, some brass and exhaust hubs and wheels, and an air scale instrument panel. You might wonder why I haven't got any seat belts for it. There are 2 reasons for that. One is that I can't get hold of any because every single person in the world has bought an Airfix Spitfire and they rushed out and bought seat belts to go with it, it seems. And the other reason is that this aircraft does not have a standard Sutton harness fitted anyway. So even though I've only seen one picture that features the harness, I can see from that that it isn't a standard Sutton harness. So I'm just going to scratch build something that looks like what I can see in the photographs, and that will do. I do have some reheat photo etched buckles and bits and pieces in the old photo etched spares box, so I'm sure I'll be able to find something kicking around somewhere that I can make my own belts with. So that's just a quick intro into this build. It's not going to be a quick one. I would like to get it done relatively quickly. I've been telling myself I'd like to get it done in time for Telford and have it on display there somewhere, perhaps even on the Airfix stand, but I realistically don't think I'm going to manage that. It is only 2.5 months away now. So yeah, it's not going to be a super fast build, and the updates will probably be irregular and somewhat spaced out. So don't worry if you don't see it for a while. I've had a lot of comments re the Blackbird build because you've not seen an update in a while. It's still here, it's ongoing, I haven't shelved it. I've just simply had to do other projects with the time I have for modelling. That's what happens. This isn't my full-time job at the end of the day, so I can't always crack on with what I want to do. Thanks as ever to the wonderful Jonathan Mock of the Interesting Modelling Company, who has pulled it out of the bag again with one of these delightful thumbnails that he often does for the channel. Huge thanks to him. I definitely owe him cake and tea at some point. Thanks, John. As usual, if you do want to support the channel, the Buy Me a Coffee link is in the description below, and huge thanks as ever to the people who have done and continue to support me in that way. Thanks to everybody for watching. I hope you're looking forward to this build as much as I am. And with that said, it only remains for me to say, look after yourselves, look after each other, and Genesis out.